Welcome. Today we're jumping into a deep dive on the history of the charge-coupled device, the CCD.
That's right. And we're using the Nobel Lecture of its co-inventor, Willard S. Boyle, as our guide.
So our mission is pretty simple. We want to trace the environment, the unique pressures that led to this foundational technology.
The electronic eye of the modern world.
Exactly. And Boyle had, let's say, a very immediate take on winning the Nobel Prize.
Oh, it's great. He called it a job with no salary involved.
12-hour workdays, with the only perk being, well, you become world famous overnight.
It's so honest. And that fame, it was really built at Bell Labs. Boyle himself said his career only thrived there because of the whole environment.
The cooperative research, the equipment.
And the fellowship, as he called it. You had theoretical physicists working right alongside experimentalists. It was, built for breakthroughs.
Which explains why his and George Smith's award was the 7th Nobel for Bell Labs.
It does. And that culture was intense.
Intense is one word for it. Boyle's supervisor, Lester Germer, he was already a scientific legend, right?
Oh, absolutely. Part of the Davison and Germer experiment.
The experiment that proved the electron could be both a wave and a particle. That's a cornerstone of quantum mechanics.
It is. But as a manager, Germer had this very strange test for new lab boys.
You have to tell us.
He'd make them climb a 50-foot sheer cliff.
No way. What kind of culture were they building over there?
A pressure cooker? You have to remember, the stakes were always kind of existential.
What do you mean?
Well, the whole field of digital electronics was basically born out of a crisis. The telephone network was just bogged down.
With those huge, unreliable electromagnetic relays.
Exactly. Big, expensive, and always breaking. That's why the president of Bell Labs hired the team that eventually invented the transistor. They had to solve that problem.
So Boyle and Smith were walking into a similar situation, a demand for a new digital solution. And right now...
Absolutely. Their boss, Jack Morton, was pushing them to use silicon to make cheap memory devices. He wanted to compete with this other tech called magnetic bubbles.
And he wasn't subtle about it.
Not at all. He'd use the brand new picture phone to check in on them, to literally watch them work.
Wow.
Boyle remembered him shouting through the screen, "Sit up straight so I can see you! If your lab is not more productive, I may have to cut your budget."
That sounds more like panic than a recipe for innovation. How does that kind of threat lead to a breakthrough?
That's the paradox, isn't it? The pressure was constant, but it fed these frequent, intense brainstorming sessions.
And the CCD itself came out of one of those.
It did. One afternoon at the blackboard, they started drawing, and before the diagram was even finished, they both just knew.
They knew they had something special.
Something entirely new, and what's really amazing is that their very first model, a tiny 3-bit device, it worked perfectly, just as they hoped.
That's incredible. There's that great summary from Jim Early at Fairchild Semiconductor.
Oh, yeah.
He said, the transistor worked with a sense of sound, while the CCD worked with a sense of sight.
It's the perfect way to put it. And the impact was immediate. Boyle got a letter signed by 20 celestial telescope directors.
What did it say?
That the CCD had made revolutionary improvements to their work. Boyle himself talked about this vicarious achievement, watching a live photo from Mars on his TV.
Seeing mankind's vision extending into space thanks to his invention.
Exactly.
So that's the colossal legacy. But what really prepared him for that kind of high-pressure environment?
It all goes back to his origin story, which he said was the most important part of his life.
He was homeschooled, right?
In northern Quebec until the 9th grade. The nearest school was 30 miles away. His mother taught him using the Socratic method.
With books like Science for the Citizen and Mathematics for the Million.
Exactly. So he had this incredibly strong background in calculus and radio engineering long before he ever got to a university.
So the knowledge was there. But his mother gave him something else, didn't she?
She gave him confidence. She'd take him to lectures at McGill University, and she'd nudge him, whisper.
Listen to what they're saying. You know that. So why don't you stand up and tell them who you are?
Which leaves us with a really interesting final thought for you to consider. Think about that combination, that early, deep exposure to complex ideas, paired with the confidence to question experts. Could that be the real essential ingredient for a world-changing breakthrough?